Hi, today I'm going to give you a tour of the VoiceThread Manager tools. So the first thing you need to do is know how to access the manager. So as you can see, I am on my VoiceThread homepage. I'm signed in, and if I click on my name here, I can pull down this menu, which shows me the manager. When I click on the manager, it's going to load my different organizations. So for your view, you may only see one. If it's one school, if you have multiple schools within a district, you may see a breakdown similar to this with the overall district and then the schools there. So I'm going to click on one of these schools and go into the manager. All right, now you can see an overview, add members, manage members, settings, an all VoiceThread view, the analytics view as well, and the custom homepage. So I'm going to go through each one of these, and the first thing to note is that when you go to add members, you should see this if you can manually add them. If you don't see this, you may see another screen that looks like this. All right, so if your organization uses external authentication through an LMS or some other means, then you won't be able to add members manually. Your process for adding members would be when they log in and click on an LTI link within your course. So if you use Blackboard or Canvas or Sakai or Genzabar or Moodle or D2L and you have LTI integration, accounts are automatically created when either a faculty member or a student clicks on an LTI link in one of those courses. All right, so that's how that is made. You can find out more information by clicking on some of these links or contacting us. Okay, so let's assume that this organization does not have external authentication through an LMS or some other means, and they can manually add users one at a time. You simply have to fill out these fields, and if your students are younger students without valid email addresses, don't worry. They don't need an email address. You can just put in their username, and when it comes time to log in, the rest of it will be added. All right, so once you have their username here, when they type it in as they're logging in, as soon as they click on the password field, you'll see the @ and then a fake VoiceThread address tied to your organization's URL will show up. So they don't need to do anything but put in their username and password, but just note that a fake email address will be filled in for them and they can log in successfully. Decide whether this is going to be a student account or an educator account. You can give a label if you want for easy searching and sorting later on, and choose their graduation year. When you're all set, you just click Save. Now I can see that this user was successfully added. And if I need to, I can click on the Manage Members tab and find them in the list. And I can change any of their information that I need to, change their settings, or add them to a group. Another thing I wanted to show you is how to bulk add users. So once again, if you have accounts created through external authentication, you don't need to do this either. The accounts are created as soon as a student clicks on an LTI link. But if you do not have integration set up with an LMS or through some other process, you can simply download the CSV file here and fill it out. So I'm just going to open it up for now. All right, so as you can see, we filled out the columns for you. All you have to do is enter your student's information. So you can put in their first name, last name, their identity. If it's an educator, put in their email address. If it's a student, you can put in their email address or their username like I just showed, and it will create a fake email address for them. The password has to be at least 6 characters. You decide which type of account this is. So the top row here is an educator. The second row is a student. Put in their graduation date if they have one. Obviously, teachers do not, but students do. And if you want to put a label in, you can put that in here. Once you have that file filled out, export it as a CSV file or save it as a CSV file, and then you can click Upload. You can search your computer, find that file, and upload it, and then you will see your members. So the next step here is to go to the Manage Members. I can see all of my students here, and I can click on any student that I need to. I can see their name, their email username, put in a password, pick which account type they are, add them to a group. Now, if I wanted to add multiple students to the group at the same time, I could simply click on their names and do some bulk actions here. Change their graduation date or add them to a group. So this is helpful if you want everybody in your organization, students, teachers, all to be in the same group so you can easily share threads with them at a district or site level all at once without having to enter all the contacts and all of that stuff. You can simply add everyone to a whole school group and then drag and drop threads into that group when you need to share information with them. You can also bulk remove students. So it's important to remember the distinction between removing and deleting. When you remove a student from the group or a teacher, they still keep their account. It's just downgraded to a free trial account. So all of the content they created at your school will still remain, and they'll still have access to it if they wanted to share it as a portfolio or show people the work that they did. But if you delete their account, all of their content will be deleted. So there's no need to delete accounts. When you have people who graduate or leave the school, you can simply remove them. Next, I want to check out the settings. So I could change the name, support, and billing emails here, and then I can decide about the notifications. So these are site-wide permissions, and this is where you would set the defaults for every user in your organization. By default, all of these notifications are on. People will get emails when someone comments on a thread they created, they subscribed to, they commented on, they have edit access to, someone shared with them, and they'll also get the daily digest, which is a summary of all the comments they received during the day. If you wanted to turn some of these off, you can. Just note that this is a system-wide decision. You can allocate resources like export credits, and you can do that in 5 credit increments. Down here, you could look at some of the organization restrictions. So by default, students are allowed to start private conversations with instructors. On the K-12 level, students cannot start private conversations with other students, but they can start one with the instructor if they had a question and they wanted it to be private. On the higher ed level, by default, students can start private conversations with other students because the students are all 18 years old. So we know universities consider them to be adults, so VoiceThread does too. You can also check off some of these other settings to sign users out when the browser is closed, prevent password autocomplete for safety and security purposes. On the K-12 level, students are prevented from publishing VoiceThread, so if they create a thread that may not be part of a school assignment, they won't be able to share it outside of your organization on social media or something like that. So you can prevent their ability to publicly share VoiceThreads. They can still share them with you or other people at the institution, but they can't share them publicly to people that are not in your organization. You can, however, override that and allow them to share them publicly if you want. You can also make some restrictions on the media they can import. So when you're creating a voice thread, you can import images from Flickr's Creative Commons licensed photos and from the New York Public Library's public domain database. Flickr is not filtered by age appropriateness. So if you're dealing with younger students, there's a possibility if they start to search for inappropriate pictures, they may find something that you don't want them to see. So you can always come in here as the manager and restrict their access to importing via Flickr in the media source. If you wanted to do that with the New York Public Library public domain images, you can do that as well. Next is the All VoiceThreads page. So on the higher ed level, you can simply see the threads that were created to get a sense of what's happening in your organization. On the K-12 level, you can see and play them. All right, so if I click on this thread, it will open up and I'll be able to play it and see if there's any comments. So if there's ever a question about some inappropriate comments or a dispute about something a student said, academic dishonesty or something along those lines, the manager can always go in and check out the threads for review purposes. All right, next I want to go into analytics. So on the analytics page, you can chart the usage of VoiceThread at your institution, and you can see if it's growing or if people at some point are struggling. So what I recommend, if you're having trouble at any point getting VoiceThread usage boosted at your school, please do contact us. If you have a site license or a district license, your license comes with 2 free workshops per year. So we'd be happy to schedule those with you if you notice a downward trend in your VoiceThread usage minutes. If you don't have a district or site license and you would like a training, you can contact us and we can schedule one for you as well. While we're in the analytics, let's just look at some of the other things you can do. In addition to looking at usage, you can look at the media that was imported, how many threads were created within your organization, how many comments were made, and you can even see a breakdown of text comments, audio, and video. All right, so that's it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can leave a comment right on this voice thread and we will get back to you. Thanks.